In this video, I want to talk to you about how to text tag. I'm going to model with a text that the students are familiar with, that we read in class, and I want to show them how they can take the text and create their text tagging hashtags on the side. Students are more than welcome to use sticky notes to do this. They can write in this box. If there's not enough space, they can put a number 1 here, a number 2 here, a number 3 here, and write on a separate piece of paper with the 1, 2, and 3 so I know which is which. And either one of those ways will work as far as the hashtags are concerned. They don't necessarily have to be on a sticky note or on this page, as long as they are attached in some way. And we see 3 different hashtags with examples. So I'm going to begin by reading. This is called Everything Will Be Okay. And as you can tell, I've pre-read this, and there are spots where I'm going to stop and I'm going to think. And I'm going to go back to my sheet and show you how I can add a text tag, a hashtag to the sheet to show my thinking. And I'm going to try my best to score the 100 by choosing an appropriate hashtag that shows that I'm doing some inner thinking. My explanation is going to show that I really thought about what I read, and my response will explain what the writer, the author, did to make me stop that in that spot and think that way. So I'm going to begin reading, and then I'm going to stop, and I'm going to model. Everything Will Be Okay by James Howell. The kitten is a scrawny thing with burrs and bits of wood caught in its coat where it still has fur, and pus coming out its eyes and nose. I stop right here and I think to myself, wow, that's pretty visual, okay? And it's pretty disgusting. So the thing that popped in my mind, my first hashtag would be hashtag ew, because that's really gross. So hashtag ew. And so why did I stop and think hashtag ew here? So here's where I'm going to have to really start thinking. Well, this part of the passage kind of made me sick to my stomach when I started thinking about pus, because I've seen that before and it's really gross. So I'm going to write this part of the passage or text made me sick to my stomach. See how I'm thinking that that's how it made me feel? Sick to my stomach. And it reminds me of a moment when I saw a kitten in the road that had some matted eyes and it was really gross. So I'm going to add that as well. This part of the passage made me sick to my stomach and reminds me of when we found a baby kitten in the middle of the road with his eyes matted shut. Okay, so I initially thought about it. Okay, I'm going to arrange my text a little bit differently. Now, I thought about it a little bit. I want to add a little bit more. Okay, that in itself would probably get me a level 3. This part of the passage made me sick to my stomach and reminds me of when we found a baby kitten in the middle of the road with his eyes matted shut. Okay, I'm doing some internal thinking. That's not exactly what happened in the text. I'm not telling you exactly what happened. I'm telling you what I thought in that moment. Well, if I want to get a level 4 on this hashtag box, I'm going to have to talk about what did the writer do to make me think that and make me feel that in that moment. So I go back to my text and I'm looking. Okay, he's talking about how scrawny the kitten is. It's got like bits and things in its fur. The pus is coming out. Those are very descriptive words, okay? And it helps me to really visualize that moment. So what did the author do? The author's use of detailed words such as, and I'm referring back to the text, scrawny, that was one that really helped me visualize, and pus coming from the kitten helped me to visualize the scene. Okay, so 1, I talked about my inner thinking. What was I thinking in this moment? So that was my first sentence. What was I thinking in this moment? Secondly, and that's my inner thinking, and this is an explanation about what I was thinking. Okay, that was one sentence, a really combined, a long, detailed sentence. And then I added an extra sentence to get the level 4. The author's use of detailed words such as scrawny and pus coming from the kitten helped me to visualize the scene. So that would be a level 4. I thought about what I read. I didn't just summarize. And it shows my inner thinking. What was I thinking in that moment when I read this part? Okay. And then on top of that, I told what the author did to make me stop here and think those thoughts. So that would be a level 4 for that box. But I have to do all 3 that way. So I have to keep going. And sometimes it'll take, I'm using my computer, but if students are handwriting this would probably take a lot more space. So that's why I say students can just number this and then attach a piece of paper or use a sticky note and write on here. Either way is fine, as long as they are doing what the assignment said to do. So I'm going to even this out just a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to keep reading, and then I'm going to look for another place to stop. I'm going to go back. The kitten is a scrawny thing with burrs and bits of wood caught in its coat where it still has fur and pus coming out of its eyes and nose. Its big baby head looks even bigger at the end of such a stick of a body. I found it in the woods at the end of my street where I play most days with my friends. This time I was alone. Lucky for you I was, I think. Otherwise, David or Claude might have decided you'd be good practice for their slingshots. Those two can be mean, I think to myself. I don't like playing with them, really. But they live at the end of the street, and sometimes you just play with the kids on your same street, even if they're mean. Sometimes even to you. There's a couple thoughts I have here. Okay, David and Claude being mean and thinking about even the possibility of using the poor little kitten for a slingshot. The first thing that came to my mind is hashtag, oh no you didn't. You're not going to use that kitty cat for a slingshot. So that's going to be my hashtag. And the second thought I had was these boys are really mean. So I can even add another hashtag here, hashtag mean boys, because no, we can't put up with that. So my first thing is hashtag, oh no you didn't. So I'm going to add that here for my next one. Hashtag, oh no you didn't. And that's one on our sheet. Let's see, where is it? Right here. Oh no you didn't. The character is doing something evil. Okay, so that's why I chose that one. And then I just want to add another one. I'm going to put hashtag mean boys, because I'm going to talk about that a little bit too, because these boys are mean. But yet he says they're his friends. That was kind of strange. So we have to think about that a little bit. So now let me add another text box here, if it'll allow me to. So now I'm going to write my thinking, and then not just my inner thinking, but on top of that, I'm also going to add what did the author do to make me feel and think these things. Okay? So let's think. First of all, I can't imagine that anyone would ever use that poor baby kitten for a slingshot. So that's going to be my initial statement, because oh no, you didn't just think that or consider that they would do that. So I cannot imagine that anyone would use a poor, pitiful kitten as a slingshot. I mean, just the thought of it, that's terrible. Okay? Plus, it sounds to me, because I'm going back and I'm thinking about this little fellow, okay, this person who's found the kitten. He's saying that he goes and plays with his friends. But then he says, this time I was alone. Lucky for you I was. Okay, so he's saying, lucky little kitty, that he's alone. But then he starts to say that they could be mean. And then he says, I don't like playing with them. But then he called them his friends, which was strange. Okay. But they live at the end of the street, and sometimes you just play with the kids on your same street, even if they're mean. So it sounds to me like he doesn't have many friends that live near him. So I'm going to include something about that, having the mean boys. Plus, it sounds like this boy may not have many friends nearby. Okay, now that's my inner thinking. Now I'm going to explain what did the author and the writer do to make me think this. Well, then I go back to my passage again. When they're talking about him playing with somebody, and he's going to play with them sometimes, but even when they're mean, that suggests to me that he doesn't have any nice friends around. So I'm going to say, when the author shows that the boy plays with the mean boys, even when they're mean to him, this suggests to the reader, which is me, to the reader, that this child may not have friends nearby. He didn't have to come out and say that, but we can infer that. We can put what we already know about situations and what the book and what the text is telling us, and we can infer that he probably doesn't have very many friends. Okay? So I just included my inner thinking, which were the first two sentences. Okay? And then I included what the author did to help me to think that. So then I have one more hashtag to do to complete my assignment. So far, I'm still working for that level 4. All right, so I continue reading. Okay, so he's got the kitten, and the kitten's pitiful looking, and thank goodness the friends aren't there because they'd probably be mean to the kitten. So here we go. The kitten makes a pitiful noise. Don't worry, I tell it, stroking its scabby head until the meowing is replaced by a faint purr. Everything will be okay. I'm going to take you home, and my mom will give you a bath and some medicine. I tuck the kitten under my jacket and run out of the woods, across the street, down the sidewalk toward my house. I feel the warmth of the kitten through my shirt and start thinking of names. Okay, at that moment, I start thinking, I get like some exciting feelings, like some warm and fuzzy feelings, because I think it's so kind and sweet of this person to think about that kitten and want to help it. So the first thing that came to my mind was warm fuzzies. So my hashtag for this one is hashtag warm fuzzies. And then I have to tell about why I chose that hashtag. Hashtag warm fuzzies. And this is not one on our sheet. This is one I came up with on my own. So, hashtag warm fuzzies. Why am I saying this? Okay, well, it makes me feel all good inside when people help little animals that can't help themselves. Okay, let's see. Why is this not moving? There we go. All right. So, what could I say here? I'm going to say this boy seems to be a kind person, and I am getting warm and fuzzy feelings because he is going out of his way to try and be helpful to the kitten. And then I'm going to kind of add like a personal connection here, and it's okay to do that. Tell your thoughts. You can add a personal connection here, just like I did before when I said we found a kitten that had matted eyes. Well, we did rescue 3 kittens, so I'm going to talk about how our family has taken in 3 kittens so they wouldn't suffer and die. This is exactly what this young boy is doing. Okay, so there's some of my inner thinking. And then I'm wondering something. It's okay to wonder about something and maybe ask a question here. And I don't want you just to ask a question with your hashtag, but it's okay with your thinking to add a question. Maybe he will keep it. Maybe he will keep the kitten as he is trying to figure out a name. So I'm kind of predicting a little bit. And then I'm also going to ask a question. I wonder if his family will feel the same way. I wonder if they're like helpful people and they want to be helpful to the kitten. I mean, he talks about maybe his mama giving it medicine and giving it a bath. Okay, so I've done my thinking. But if I don't include what the author did to make me think these things, then I can't get full points here. So I'm going to have to add what the author did. The author, when I think about it, makes me believe this boy is a good person. Well, how did he do that? By adding dialogue. And for those of you that are not sure what dialogue is, when it talks with it, don't worry, everything will be okay. When he's saying those things, that's dialogue. They're adding dialogue to show how much, or to show that he is concerned for the kitten and wants to take care of him. If the author did not do that, I probably would not have had those warm, fuzzy feelings. So that's what the author did to make me stop there and think about that. And think about the time that our family rescued some kittens. So as you can see here, I have 1, 2, 3 hashtags. One of them was one on our list, but then I had others that were not on the list. I made sure that my hashtag matched what I talked about as far as my inner thinking. I stopped and I thought about what I had just read. And I also included with each one what the author did to make me think and feel those ways. Because there's certain things, certain words, or certain ways the writer describes things, or a tone of a voice of a character that makes us think these thoughts. So that's what you need to do in order to score the top points for your text tagging. Again, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. If you are not certain, please go back and watch this video step by step again so that you can be successful. Because this year, this homework assignment will be a consistent thing throughout the year, and we want you to be successful. So think about what I did when I stopped and I thought about what I was reading. And you know, just because you're asked to do these 3 hashtags, I encourage you with anything that you read a little bit and stop and think about what you're reading. You're going to know far more about the text if you stop and think about it, or even stop and annotate out to the side, than you ever will with just reading it and not ever stopping and thinking. So I hope this video was helpful. Again, let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.